If a friend asks me which flagship phone to buy, I will give 4 recommendations. The choices are vivo X200 Pro, Galaxy S25 Ultra, iPhone 16 Pro Max, and OnePlus 13. I am Mo, and today I will do a 5G battery drain and camera test for these 4 phones. Each of these phones has a superpower. The first one is the vivo X200 Pro, and the superpower of this phone is its crazy camera system. The second choice is the Galaxy S25 Ultra, and the superpower of the phone is the feature packed software. If you want to lock yourself into the Apple ecosystem, you should go for the iPhone 16 Pro Max. The superpower of the iPhone is the perfect integration with other Apple products like MacBook, AirPods, or Apple Watch. Last but not least, you can go for the OnePlus 13. OnePlus excels in price to performance ratio. You simply can't get a better deal than the OnePlus 13 right now. Before starting the battery drain test, let's look at the displays. vivo X400 Pro and OnePlus 13 have a 12-bit panel, while the iPhone has 10-bit and Galaxy has 8-bit. The Vivo and OnePlus have a slightly curved displays, while the other two are flat. Vivo has the brightest displays of all, while the Galaxy has the anti-reflecting property, which is neat, but it is also the least bright based on GSM Arena measurements. The PWM on the OnePlus 13 and vivo X200 Pro are excellent. They are at around 2160 Hz, while the iPhone and Galaxy are at around 480 Hz. If you are sensitive to PWM, go for the Chinese phones. Before doing the battery life, I ran a couple of small benchmarks to check the phone's performance. The first one was Geekbench. In this benchmark, in multi-core, the Vivo and iPhone got a similar score, while the S25 Ultra and OnePlus 13 got 1000 more. On the single core, the iPhone did the best, followed by OnePlus, Galaxy, and then Vivo. Vivo also got the hottest here, while iPhone was the coolest phone. For the second benchmark, I ran 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme. Here, OnePlus 13 again got the best score, followed by Vivo and Galaxy S25 Ultra, and the lowest was for iPhone 16 Pro Max. For the third performance test, I decided to export a YouTube video in CapCut. vivo X200 Pro finished in only 1 minute and 6 seconds, which is amazing. It reached around 35 degrees Celsius. 8 seconds later, in 1 minute and 14 seconds, the OnePlus 13 finished and reached 33 degrees Celsius. Galaxy S25 Ultra finished in 1 minute and 36 seconds and reached 33 degrees Celsius. Finally, iPhone 16 Pro Max finished in 1 minute and 46 seconds and reached only 30 degrees Celsius. Right now, Galaxy S25 Ultra uses a meaningful amount of battery, while the rest are almost fully charged. I disconnected all phones from Wi-Fi and connected them to 5G. Now, I'm going to run YouTube on the network to check the battery life of the phones. Usually, watching YouTube is one of the least demanding tasks that you can do with a phone. These days, phones' screens are super power efficient, and consuming content over the internet also does not use that much battery. I did this test for around 1.5 hours. By the end of the test, Galaxy S25 Ultra was a few percentage below the other, which is not surprising considering it has a 5000 mAh capacity. Almost all 4 phones have the same display temperature, and there is no meaningful difference. They are all below 30 degrees Celsius. Now Vivo has 87% battery left, Galaxy has 79% battery left, iPhone has 86%, and OnePlus has 88% battery left. For the next test while staying on the 5G connection, I ran Google Meet so the phones talk to each other. By the end of the test, the Vivo and Galaxy were 36 degrees, the iPhone was 39 degrees, and the OnePlus was at 34 degrees Celsius. Now, Vivo is at 74%, Galaxy has 59%, iPhone is at 67%, and OnePlus is at 77% battery left. At night, I put all phones on a standby mode, connected to 5G, and went to sleep. Usually phones should not use too much power when on a standby, and this is also a good test to make sure none of the phones run some background apps that kills the battery. When I woke up, the Vivo lost 4%, Galaxy lost 3%, iPhone lost 5%, and OnePlus lost 4% battery. I then ran the front-facing camera on 4K and 60 frames per second. You may notice the display brightness is different here. It is because the iPhone increases the exposure a bit, and I also noticed that the Galaxy is very quick to dim the screen whenever it gets hotter than a certain amount. I ran this test for an hour, and by the end of it, Vivo was around 2 degrees hotter than the iPhone and Galaxy. OnePlus was 1 degree hotter than the iPhone and Galaxy. Now the difference really starts to show. The Vivo stayed above 50%, Galaxy going down to 34%, iPhone 43%, and OnePlus at 55% battery left. Then I decided to go out and check the cameras on the phones and take some photos and videos for comparison. I'm also running Komoot in the background to track my activity using GPS just to drain the batteries even more. All phones are connected to the same 5G network. Let's also check the camera housing of each phone. These phones each have a unique design language that they perfected over the years. The Vivo X200 Pro has a large camera bump, which sometimes gets in the way when you are holding the phone. The beauty of the camera bump is that it has a Zeiss coating for dealing with reflections, and I can attest that quality of the glass is indeed higher than the other brands. The Galaxy S25 Ultra now has rounded corners, but it is still boxy. The S Pen is a unique feature of the Galaxy, and I personally use it daily. The Galaxy is also the only phone that has 4 cameras on the back instead of 3. The iPhone 16 Pro Max has been unchanged for a few generations. The camera housing is tucked neatly in the left corner. The phone is also magnetic on the back, which is neat, with a camera bottom on the side. OnePlus 13 has a larger camera bump than the Galaxy and iPhone, but it is still more manageable than the Vivo X200 Pro. They also have Hasselblad branding on the back to show that they are collaborated with this Swedish company for their camera color since it is unique. Starting with the main lens in the Turkish cafe, the iPhone photo is too dark. I feel Galaxy did the best skin tone, followed by Vivo with Zeiss Natural. The skin tone on OnePlus is too purple. On 5x zoom, the photo on Vivo is the best. Galaxy is a bit disappointing regarding the dynamic range. iPhone and OnePlus are decent, and OnePlus has this unique Hasselblad orange tone to it. In 10x zoom, Vivo again did the best, which is not surprising since it has a large telephoto sensor. I would say the rest are on par. Let's check the selfie camera. It is a good time because it is windy, so we can also check the microphones. Here we have the Vivo X200 Pro. Then we have the Galaxy S25 Ultra. The selfie camera is quite nice on all of them, I would say. Then we have iPhone 16 Pro Max. You can check how do I look like on iPhone 16 Pro Max. It is not super sunny, but it's not also shady at the same time. Then here we have the OnePlus 13. And let's see how do I look like on the OnePlus 13. OnePlus usually have this Hasselblad look that is not everybody's cup of tea, but you can see by yourself whether you like this look or not. They have a bit of an orange tone to it. All 4 phones have similar sensor sizes on the main lens. OnePlus is a bit smaller, but that does not make a real difference during the day or even at night. The only annoying thing about OnePlus is that it only captures video with a variable frame rate. For video processing and skin tone, in this case, I prefer the one on S25 Ultra compared to the other 3 phones. The colors in Vivo are usually more vivid, even in Zeiss Natural mode. Galaxy is balanced, the iPhone is muted on standard mode, and the OnePlus has a bit of an orange tint to it. Galaxy has a new ultra-wide lens that can make a difference. Here, they all did great regarding dynamic range. The iPhone photos are darker than the rest of the pack. Here, I took a picture with 20x zoom. The one in Vivo is a head and shoulder above the rest. The OnePlus zoom game is weak, but both Galaxy and iPhone pictures are acceptable. You can use the telephoto lens on OnePlus and Vivo to take macro shots. I particularly like these macro shots in Vivo as they always turn out amazing. For the night photos with the main lens, here again, Vivo and Galaxy did a great job. I like the photo of the iPhone, especially since the colors are more accurate. OnePlus didn't do great here and details are missing. The sensor on OnePlus is a bit smaller than the rest. On 10x zoom, even though Vivo got the most details, it did not get the white balance right. Galaxy and iPhone got it better. OnePlus also did a great job, but the white balance is too yellow. And with 5x zoom, the picture of Vivo is so good. I really hope Apple and Samsung find a way to put such a sensor on their flagship phone, even though I doubt it, since they already have a monopoly and they stopped to care a long time ago. Here you probably noticed that the video coming out of Vivo looks like it is coming out of a real camera. This is because the larger sensor gives you a better depth and bokeh. Basically, the camera blurs the background more. For daylight with the main lens, the stabilization works well for all 4 phones. I don't know about you, but I tend not to run with my phone while filming. The dynamic range is also excellent in all of them, and there is no complaint. Vivo is more contrasty than the rest. I know you've heard this phrase a lot, but you can't go wrong with any of these phones, and they are all capable. That said, if you are a content creator, Vivo, Galaxy, and iPhone are more recommended because the camera apps have more options than OnePlus, such as log, variable frame rate, and so on. Each phone has its own implementation of log. Log is a color profile that gives you a better dynamic range. Here, I'm using log on Vivo X200 Pro to color grade the footage. Now, this is the one I took with log from Galaxy S25 Ultra, and yes, those logs are paid actors. I'm pleasantly surprised by the quality of log footage from the Galaxy. That said, Apple Log has been around for a long time, and I find myself finding better support for it on different platforms like Adobe Premiere. And on OnePlus you don't have any log, and I took this video in a normal mode, but it is decent, and I'm sure some people would prefer this over the ones I color graded. Before getting home, the Vivo had 36% battery left, Galaxy had 15% battery left, iPhone had 26% battery left, and OnePlus had 39% battery left. I went back home and I stopped the GPS tracking. To drain the batteries to zero, I again decided to run Google Meets since it is heavy enough for the phones to run to the ground. And it is also fun to watch them leave the chat one by one. At this point, it's very obvious that the Galaxy S25 Ultra is the first phone that is going to leave the chat. It is a bit disappointing that Galaxy did not include the new battery technology and is clearly behind the competitors. To add insult to injury, One UI 7 is not very well optimized. My assumption is that all those AI indexing in the background and services running like the brief are making One UI the heaviest Android skin out there. I train large language models for a living and I know how heavy those things can get, but that's only a guess. Samsung left the chat sooner than expected at 5 hours and 30 minutes. iPhone has a smaller battery capacity, but it is still going strong. The software and hardware integrations makes it easier for Apple to produce a power-efficient device. However, they also refuse to use the new battery technology to improve their battery life even further. The iPhone 16 Pro Max left the chat after 6 hours and 4 minutes. That's more than half an hour compared to the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Even though in my last test, Vivo X200 Pro won the battle, it does seem this time the OnePlus 13 is going to the last man standing. The Vivo X200 Pro has a 6000 mAh battery, similar to the OnePlus 13, but the weight of the phones is less than the previous generations since the new material in the batteries allows that. Vivo X200 Pro is the best camera phone here and has a great battery life, but this phone is not widely available. Also, the camera bump can be a deal breaker for an average user. The Vivo X200 Pro finally left the chat after 7 hours and 20 minutes, which is an amazing result. The OnePlus 13 had the best performance among the rest of the pack. The thermals were also great. OnePlus is more available in the global market, and if you want to spend less money and don't mind a few limitations on Oxygen OS, I do recommend getting it. After 7 hours and 33 minutes, the OnePlus 13 also left the chat. Now we have the final result. The first place is for the Galaxy S25 Ultra, followed by the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the Vivo X200 Pro, and finally OnePlus 13. I still do hope that Samsung fixes potential issues in the future updates, but as of today, it seems the One UI 7 is rather heavy. Also, not having a higher capacity battery is not great news. The iPhone here punches above its weight with optimized software. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see a more real-life day-in-the-life comparison, you can watch the Galaxy S25 versus iPhone 16 in a day-in-the-life comparison next. Thanks for tuning into TechMo, and I will see you in the next one.